everyone. Where were you on September 11th, 2001? I was in my senior year of high school in English class at the time the towers fell that day, and that is the day that I decided to join the Air Force. Little did I know, 3 years later, I'd be on my first deployment of my Air Force career. My name is Clint Taylor, and today I'm here to tell you my story of my first deployment of my Air Force career to Iraq in 2005. It was August 2005, and after a long 32-hour journey from the United States to Germany to Al Udeid, I finally landed at Ali Air Base, Iraq. This was my first deployment, and I had no idea what to expect. Getting off the plane and smelling the hot desert air for the first time is something I would never forget. Prior to arriving to Iraq, I'd never been out of the United States, and now I was in a different part of the world in a country I knew nothing about. Although I was a little nervous, I was really excited as this would be the first time I would be able to work with the Army and the Marines. Also on this deployment, I had the opportunity of working with soldiers from Australia and Spain. Not only was this my first deployment, it would also be my first time I had ever spent a birthday, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas away from my family. But while being on this deployment, we were all able to celebrate the holidays. On Halloween, we had a big costume party, and on Thanksgiving and Christmas, we were all treated to a huge lunch and dinner. This deployment, being my first deployment away from my family for the holidays, was also the first time I experienced some of the weather that we received at Iraq while being deployed there. On Christmas night, I spent the entire night cleaning up my tent as it had rained all day and our living quarters had been completely flooded. It only rained a few times while being deployed to Iraq, but when it did, it flooded everything. I also experienced my first dust storm while being deployed to Iraq. When the dust storm hit, you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you, and after the dust storm was over, it left sand in every crack and crevice. Besides experiencing the crazy weather in Iraq, another memory I have from this deployment is helping the children from Iraq come on base for doctor visits and treatment. I'll never forget seeing the young Iraqi children walking up to me at the front gate. These kids had been burned, cut, and beaten by Saddam's soldiers. There was no better feeling than helping these kids receive the treatment that they needed. Helping the children was one of only several things that I did on this deployment. I also worked with the men from Turkey and Iraq, bringing them on base and watching over them as they worked to rebuild runways and buildings on base. However, it was very difficult communicating with the men from Turkey and Iraq because none of them could speak very good English. Whenever they would bring their heavy equipment on base, it was always a challenge trying to get them to their destination because neither one of us could understand each other very easy. After 6 months of working with the men from Iraq and Turkey, rebuilding the base, I returned home to Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. The feeling was awesome stepping off the plane at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base and seeing all my family and friends who had supported me and sent me care packages while being at Iraq on my deployment. Once I returned to work at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, I was awarded the Air Force Achievement Medal for my efforts at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Today, I told you my story of my first deployment of my Air Force career. I hope you enjoyed my story, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for listening. Bye.